it's a culture thing. So everyone always has work. You will always have some work at the end of like at 5 p.m., right? There's always some goal. But it's a cultural thing there, right? In some places you have the culture of, yeah, you might as well finish it off versus having a culture that, okay, tomorrow will come. You can come back and start again tomorrow. Today is done, right? It's 5 p.m. Work day is over. So it's not so much as rules. It's more about soft encouragement and culture, right? So that culture is definitely there here. Like they want you to like I feel like my coworkers and they really value like your downtime and vacation time and even like I said, evening time, right? So I I really like that.
Welcome, everybody, to an interview today with a data analyst from Bangalore, India, who's now living in Western Germany, working in Germany here. And today we're going to talk about, the work culture in Germany, how it is to work in Germany for her, how it is to move here, how it is to find an apartment, all those kind of questions we're going to talk about. Welcome, Stuti, today.
Thank you. It's really nice to talk to you again after a few months.
Yeah, it's been a while since we met last time. So, Stuti, you are now living in the Cologne area, like Western Germany. And tell me, first of all, when you came here, how was it for you? Like, how were your first days here?
So I would start by saying like it was really lovely because for me, I really wanted to move to Germany and experience uh, take the next step in life, relocate, start your life again in a new country. And I wanted to come to Germany for a long time, so I was very excited. And everything I expected and more. It was really nice. Although I did arrive at the end of January, so it was very cold. I had never been that cold in my life. But people told me, this is not even the most cold place in Europe. This is like moderately cold for European standards. So I was like, okay, I'm prepared for this. I wanted to move to Europe. So yeah, initially like it took me a couple of weeks to get used to the cold, and now we are in summer, so it was all worth it. So.
Did you buy warm jackets and stuff before you came here?
No, actually, there is a lot of informational content on YouTube about Indians moving to Germany. So one of those videos told me, I'm North Indian, so we need jackets for North Indian winters. But the videos told me, don't bring your North Indian jacket. Of course, you have to wear something when you're traveling, but don't buy because you will have to buy it here. Because for winters here, you need like big jackets, which you get only here. But we don't need them in India. So yeah, I wore a jacket and came, and then in my first week I went to Primark because the video also told me where you can get the cheap, nice jackets. So yeah, so that was nice. Primark helped in the beginning.
All right, and then you were prepared for winter. I mean, now we speak, it's June, it's a bit of summer, it's beginning of summer. How is the summer for you? Like, what is the difference for you, summer, winter? How it's a different one?
Yeah, I mean, I was just telling my family, like when I arrived here, it was dark at 8 p.m. or no, not 8 p.m. Sorry, dark at 4 p.m. and then light at 8 a.m. Right? So you had 8 hours of day and 16 hours of night, and now it's literally 8 hours of darkness and 16 hours of light. So from 4 a.m. to 10 p.m. it is light, and then so that's also something to get used to. Like when you have like me, you arrive in the winter and you're like, oh my god, it's then just trying to get used to the cold. And now I need curtains because I can't fall asleep. Like I'm not used to, like even in India, like our sunrise and sunset, it doesn't 2-3 hours difference we have between summer and winter. It's not crazy like this. So I'm not used to like falling asleep within an hour of darkness. So yeah, from 9 p.m. I have to put my windows and slowly start preparing for falling asleep. Like close the curtains. But it's also really lovely. I love. I mean, we all work 9 to 5-ish here, right? So I try to walk home from office. That's like 20 minutes walk, and then I cross gardens and parks and all. And people are 6 p.m. and you will think it's a Saturday afternoon because people are just picnicking in the parks. So I really like that. I like the extra hours of daylight. So.
We spoke in our first part of our interview, we spoke already how you got an offer here, about the interview process. Let's quickly talk about the visa process again. So you got a visa called Blue Card. How long did it take you to get the visa?
I think for me, it took just 1 month. I get the offer, employment contract in 1 week. Within 2 weeks, I got my visa appointment, and the actual appointment date was 1 or 2 more weeks. So first week of November, I'm getting the employment offer. In the second or third week of November, I get the employment contract, like the actual contract document. It takes a week after your offer interview. Then I apply, and then within 1 or 2 weeks, they say, okay, we have an appointment for you, and the actual appointment date is 1 more week out. And then just like you go for your appointment, within 2-3 days, they send back your passport with the visa. So getting the appointment decides how long your visa process is going to be. And it used to be longer. Like it used to take 1 or 2 months to get an appointment after you applied. And now it's getting better and better. And I know people who joined after me, and for them it was even shorter. So so it's very smooth process. And within 1 month, typically I would say now within 1 month, even in worst case scenario, within 2 or 3 months, you will get your visa. But that's rare. Everyone I talk to now gets the visa within a month of like getting an offer.
Yeah, it's getting faster and faster. And tell me, next to we talk about your new job in a second. Tell me, when you came here, what was challenging for you in the beginning? Like what did you have to organize?
So I would say, first of all, I already said the weather was kind of challenging, but that, I mean, if you're moving in winter, be mentally ready, right? The second thing is finding a house. So, and also in my case, but also most companies arrange some house for you when you initially move here. So I got accommodation for the first month. Usually people get 1 or 2 months. And even if your company is not giving, you can find it on Airbnb or similar, like for temporary accommodation, you can always find, right? But I mean, you want to feel settled and find a long-term accommodation as soon as possible, right? That's what all of us need to feel stable somewhere. So in my first couple of months, that was always on my mind. Like I put a lot of effort into it. Like I did a lot of networking, joined any social network groups, like in whether Indians group or data analyst groups or whatever, right? Tech people group, whatever. And everywhere, I'm like, I'm looking for a flat. Please let me know. But it works, everyone goes through the 1 or 2 months of anxiety. Eventually you will find a house, even though it is challenging. And worst case scenario, you can get a temporary place again for 1 or 2 more months, but usually that doesn't happen. You will find a house, but yeah, the challenge will definitely be there. Like you will have a month of anxiety.
What else next to an apartment? What else did you have to organize? How about food, whatever?
Yeah. So, well, okay. So you are moving here from India. So obviously, I mean, if you want the huge variety of Indian food, that will not happen. Of course, you'll have limited choices of Indian food, but then it also opens the door. Like you can try food from other places in the world, right? Like I really like Turkish food. I tried Vietnamese food and Greek food. I mean, it's your Indian food options will limit, but then you're open to all these other options. So, I mean, it's just about openness, right? In my case, I wanted to experience the different types of things. So for me, it was cool. And yeah, you also have to be like, if you're moving alone, like me, then you have to like also manage your discipline in terms of your lifestyle, like managing your meals, especially early on, you have just moved, you will have a lot of like activities around like your visa process, going to look for houses, also parallelly get used to your new job. And manage your meals.
Speaking of which, how was it? Let's speak about your new job. What would you say is the biggest difference working here in Germany then, if you compare it to you work for a big MNC back in India? What is different here?
Actually, the first thing that comes to my mind is working hours, for sure. Like in India, especially my team, like I worked in a global MNC, I always had a global team. Like manager is in some different country, one team member is in some different country, I am in some different country. We did not have one time zone. So of course, most of like 9 to 5 is your regular work day. But I mean, most people working in global MNCs in India will tell you 9 to 5 is not what we work, right? Sometimes you're working 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. You have to work on something sometimes, right? I mean, that especially if you have global colleagues. So the time zone was all scattered, and here it's very, very disciplined. Everyone is in the German time zone, and we have a 9 to 5 work culture. And I already got feedback once initially from my manager, like, oh, I noticed you sometimes work at 7 or 8 p.m. But you don't have to. It's okay. You can go home at 5 p.m. So it was I was also had to like get used to it. No, it's okay. It's 5 p.m. Go do something fun. So that's the loveliest part, I mean.
So they have to send you home. Huh?
Yeah, that just happened a few times initially, like because we are in the habit, right? You're working on something and then, okay, it's 5 p.m. Maybe I'll shut down just half an hour, just get this done, right? But then it's a culture thing. So everyone always has work. You will always have some work at the end of like at 5 p.m., right? There's always some goal. But it's a cultural thing there, right? In some places, you have the culture of, yeah, you might as well finish it off versus having a culture that, okay, tomorrow will come. You can come back and start again tomorrow. Today is done, right? It's 5 p.m. Work day is over. So it's not so much as rules. It's more about soft encouragement and culture, right? So that culture is definitely there here. Like they want you to they like I feel like my coworkers and they really value like your downtime and vacation time and even like I said evening time, right? So I I really like that. I think it takes some getting used to. Like I said, even in my case, it took me a little bit getting used to earlier, but you really need that. I feel like it's a very good change. Once you push yourself towards it, you feel like my work life balance is much better. Even productivity increases. Like I feel that I'm very productive. I'm doing good work. I'm very driven, but I'm also here to enjoy like uh, my life, right? Living here, experiencing different things. So yeah, that's one big change. I like that.
What else is different? How do you manage projects there? How is this working here in this different work culture?
Yeah.
What is different?
So I would say again just to get a little bit into detail, like the company that I was working in, we had a lot of emails culture, emails meetings, and here it's like Slack. You know, if a meeting can be a text, send the text on Slack, right? And it's not just about what tool you are using, right? It's not about emails, meetings versus Slack. It's about the the cycle time. So if we are working on something, it's not that okay, I worked on something, then we'll have a meeting, there someone will give feedback, then I'll get back to it, then next meeting. It just increases the cycle time of making a decision and moving forward on a project, right? Here it's like, okay, you do something, you post it on Slack, immediately you will get text feedback or detailed feedback. Of course, if you need, you can meet, but most of the times for feedback, you can do much better job on like text, and then immediately you can apply it, you can respond. So things move much faster is like what I'm trying to say. It's much more efficient. Our communication is much more optimized, right? So even between teams, right? Like collaboration is much more efficient. So I feel like that's one main difference. Also, I was working in a very big company, like they had 70,000 people worldwide. And now I'm working in a company which is big by German standards. So like 700 people. But to me, it feels like a much more small group. And you feel more familiarity, but also it's a small group. So you feel like you're working with a very uh, driven, organized, skilled, like good quality of like people. So I really like that. It's always inspiring. You always have something to learn. Every conversation with someone, even in a different role, I learn something new. So I really like that. Also, like I think it's not so relevant now. I guess everyone is going to the office now, but I was working from home for like 2-3 years in COVID, and now I really enjoy like going to the office. And I mean, we can work from anywhere in Germany, and I can work 100% remote if I want to. But I really like interacting with colleagues, going to the office, having the work chats, and like I said, it's balanced. Like you go to the office and then you can come home at 5 p.m. So that's good.
And do you also spend time with some of your colleagues after work? Is that also the case, or how does that work?
Yeah, we always have some events, like, and even in the office sometimes we chill. And uh, yeah, we keep having like office parties and stuff, so which is really nice. I also had some more like sometimes there are plans to, like, let's say, go to a museum or something, right? People with shared interests. So I did few of those, which was fun. Also, I think they really helped me settle in initially. So whether it is giving a tip when I'm doing house hunting, right? Join this group, or getting me added to some groups where people are posting housing ads for houses, for example, right? Or now that I'm more settled, I have the house, I need more social inclusion, right? So, oh, this event is happening, or just sharing links, right? Sharing information with me. So I think that also really helps. People are like really proactive to help you, right? All you just have to ask, right? So I mean, if I ask, yeah.
How about the language barrier? Do you speak German yet? Or is there a language barrier? And if so, where?
So professionally, I don't think so. Initially, like there is no language barrier. In my company, people speak in English, and if you are in a very high tech role, of course, most of the work is in English in most companies. So you're not expected to know German for to be able to succeed initially, right? But I would say long term, I mean, I definitely want to be able to speak German, and I would also suggest to anyone, right? Like if you are in Germany, might as well speak German. But yeah, even if you have zero German skills, you can still get a job. You can still have a good transition. I'm sorry. Are you getting the disturbance?
Well, it's fine. That's
Sorry.
what happens in Berlin.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah. Plus, it's like summer now. I have my window open for some wind. But yeah. Anyway, so I was saying, yeah. So even if you have zero German, you can start on your journey. But I would say as long as you have the right mindset, learning mindset, growing mindset, then learning any language is a skill at the end of the day. So
Yeah.
if you're here, it will only help you integrate more. So that's good. In my case, I studied German A1 many years ago, like in first year of college, I did an A1 course, forgot everything. Then last year I did a Duolingo, which also really helped me. So I won't say Duolingo can really teach you a language, but it can help you with like your A1 level skills.
Set
It's
you
very
up,
good. Yeah. And if you like me did a course long time ago and you have forgotten, it will help you remember the A1. So and I think that's another reason why I said it's always good to learn the language. So even if you don't need it in your office, right, you're still living here, you have day-to-day interactions with people in your city or in your community, like you are living in a new community, right? So the more you can speak, the better. So yeah, I am trying to learn A2 now. My company also has a subscription for an app, and I am using those apps, and like I said, I even used Duolingo before, but I really feel like I missed the classroom experience that I had in college. So yeah, now I'm exploring language courses in Germany. I'm also more settled, so I have time now to do a full-on evening class or something.
We spoke about work culture, about your team, how things are handled. Let's also quickly speak about the technical part of your job. What would you recommend the data analyst who's looking for a job in Germany? What kind of skills should he or she be good at?
Yeah. So I'll say there are many layers. So let's start with the base layer. There's no replacement for hard data skills. So you practice your SQL. Unlimited free resources are there on YouTube for anyone. Even if you know zero SQL, it's low effort, high reward. Definitely improve SQL as much as possible. Even if you are a business analyst who are like, no, I don't really need SQL. For me, Excel is fine. It's more about business analysis. That's fine. You can give it a month and you can learn SQL. So that's one thing. Another thing is Excel goes without saying. It's like the bread and butter. You should be very comfortable with any tabular data, right? So comfortable with Excel, learn SQL. Other than that, very important to be able to confidently say I can work perfectly with any one business intelligence tools. So all like Tableau, Power BI, Amazon, AWS has their own tool. There are many tools, right? Google has their own tool, but at least have one tool which you are completely confident in. Again, even if you don't need it, like, okay, you're a business analyst, maybe PowerPoint presentation is enough for your data visualization needs, but that's fine. You can make some effort, learn Tableau. Like, for example, in my case, I actually used to work on Tableau, so I was very confident in that. I would say, even if you don't use it that much, practice and study enough that you are very confident in it. So I would say that makes your base layer. Once you have that solid, then you prepare on the second part, which is, like I said, communication, presentation. For an analyst, doing the analytics is one thing. It's one part. The second part is actually communicating your results in a way that is easy for the audience to consume, so that you are not overloading them with all the details, analytical details of your analysis, but at the same time, you are communicating the results very clearly, and in some kind of high level summary, you are giving a high level overview of the analytical process that you did.
Yeah.
Not so that they also have some confidence. It doesn't seem like a black box, right? So here are my results. Here is a very good visualization. Here is some high level summary of the analytical path that I took. That takes some practice, I would say. So first of all, it comes from your work experience, right? And secondly, like, I think the more you can practice, even in your day-to-day experience, how much structured I can make it, and And about consistency, right? So like if you present every month, try to create some structure in your mind. This is my structure and this is the structure that I'm confident in, and then use it often so that when it comes time, and like in German interview process, you will get a case study. You will have to case study. There's like a work assignment. Here's some data. Here's some problem statement. Create the solution, right? And then you will be expected to present your solution. So of course, like I said, no replacement for data skills. You actually have to solve it properly. But then the second part, presenting your solution, is equally important. I would say even more important than small errors in implementation. It's even a learning experience. Someone tells you, oh, you could have analyzed it this way, that way. But communication, if it's not proper, then you're not going to go to the next round, right? Because that's very much valued. So I would say a lot of focus on that. And then third thing, which is, I would say, least priority, but always good. Like for example, in my case, whenever I'll get an interview call, I would see like what the company is, what they do, and what does the company do, which domain they are in, plus the role that I am applying for, right? So even as a data analyst, you can be a data analyst for different departments.
Yeah.
So domain specific, again, you can't be an expert in the domain that you haven't worked in, but at least you have to show that I'm interested in learning this domain. This is the at least bare minimum research about the company's domain and about your role domain. That's when you get to the point when you have an interview call. It's always good. It always shows that you are proactive, you're willing to learn, and you're genuinely interested in working in a domain which is new for you, right? And of course, if you are applying in the domain which you are already working in, then of course you would be expected. Like if you are saying I'm an expert, so I'm applying in this domain because I'm good in this domain, then of course you should be good like you should have knowledge, right? If that's your area of expertise.
Thanks a lot, Stuti. That was really insightful and very, very nice structured. I think you gave a lot of interesting insights for everybody who's also working in the field of data, like data engineers, data scientists, software developers, data analysts. If you are also thinking about moving to Germany and you have watched this video, the next step is watch our online training video, which is below this video, and then book a get-to-know call with us. We will assess your profile first. If you have good chances of landing a job in Germany, we will move on to a second call. We call that career strategy consultation. There we will discuss your case in more detail. And if it's a good fit, we make you an offer to join our program. And then usually takes 2 to 3 months to get an offer. And then you also move to Germany. Thanks again, Stuti. It was a really insightful interview and I really enjoyed it. All the best to you. Auf Wiedersehen. Bye-bye.
Auf Wiedersehen.